गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are on the 16th verse. We are in Jnaneshwari Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 17, verse number 16, OV number 231. And the verse says, Manaprasada Saumyatvam Maunam Atma Vinigraha Bhava Samshuddhirityetata Tapo Manasam Uchyate. Manaprasada, Prashanta Manaprasada, quiet mind, serene mind, Saumatyam, gentle mind, Maunam, quiet, silent mind, and the result of that is Atma Vinigraha, and this only such a mind which is the previous 3-4 points, silent, gentle, which sees that it is transcendentally quiet and happy for no reason. Only such a condition of mind is suitable for attention on the truth. An agitated mind, restless mind, distracted mind, as Yoga Sutra says, or no mind, these are not healthy conditions for contemplation. These are not healthy conditions of the mind for inquiry. These are not healthy conditions in which a natural pull to inquire about who am I, a natural pull to be with yourself, it will not happen. And when it does happen, it will only take you to sleep, because you are distracted mind, restless mind, agitated mind. There are many millions of billions of people on this planet. But when they withdraw, they go to sleep. They don't go into a mode of self-control or self-reflection. Bhava Sanshuddhi, only when this happens, then the thoughts are there. But now we change the bhava, we change the quality of the thought. Before the thought was of the world, now the thought is of the divine. Before we are taking the name of the Lord for 20-30 years, now suddenly what happened? Bhava Sanshuddhi. Now your intentions are pure. Now you are not taking the name for getting something to be attained in the world. Now you are taking the name for the sake of the Lord. Bhava Sanshuddhi. With no fear, with no expectation, with no ulterior motive. You are remembering the Lord, or taking the name, or contemplating on the self, with pure intention. Bhava Sanshuddhi. This is the tapas of the mind, so it is said. Manasam Uchyate. And we have been seeing this. Now today we begin with the 231st OV. 231. बुझाली वैराग्याची बोरप, झिराली मनाची धाप काप, तेथ केवळ झाली वाफ निजबोधाची. म्हणूनी विचारावया शास्त्र, राहाटवावे जे वक्त्र, ते वाचेचे ही सूत्र हाती न धरी. ते स्वलाभ लाभलेपणे मन मनपणाही धरू नेणे, शिवतले जैसे लवणे आपुले निज. तेथके उठिती ते भाव, जिही इंद्रिय मार्गी धाव, घेऊनी ठाकावे गाव विषयांचे ते. म्हणूनी तिये मानसी भावशुद्धीची असे अपैसी, रोमशुची जैसी तळहातासी. He says in the 231st, where are we? 231st, 231st, 231st. In this state in this manasik tapas, in this state he does not feel the hardship of dispassion. His mind becomes free from desire and free, and there remains only the warmth of self-knowledge. See, what was the verse? Atma vinigraha. अगर किसी ग्रह की पूजा करनी है तो वो आत्मा की करो. आत्म ग्रह की. डोंट गो आउट वेयर शनि कैसा है और शुक्र कैसा है और केतु कैसा है और राहु कैसा है. So when we develop this type of mind, when the mind is very happy, it is quiet, it is content, it is gentle, it is silent, it is focused towards the self. And here it says, in this state, when these conditions are there, he does not feel the hardship of dispassion. He doesn't feel that he has to practice detachment. He doesn't feel that he has to get rid of the world from his mind. See? Natural. Just like when we go to sleep, naturally, our mind is not interested in the world. You did not try anything. So there is no desire in this mind for the world. His mind becomes free of desire and fear, and there remains only warmth of self-knowledge. See? Remains warmth of self-knowledge. He is contemplating. Either he is in samadhi or he is contemplating on the self. Both ways. But he is content. So no fear also. Why? Self is all that there is. Remember, we are in 17th chapter. We have worked all that out. we don't have to start from karma yoga all over again. So we are in 17th chapter, towards the conclusion of the instruction by Bhagavan Shri Krishna. See? So he says, the mouth which was used to give instructions on scriptures does not now use the faculty of speech and observe silence. This is, I think, indication for me, for this speaker. That mouth which was being used for giving lectures is now used to keep silence. Maunam. Now use the faculty of speech and observe silence. Just as the salt, when dropped in water, which is its original state, becomes merged in it, so the mind, having realized the self, loses its essential nature. Loses itself in the essential nature. So what is mind made up of? What is the material that has gone into the mind? Is it anything other than the pure consciousness? Is it other than pure consciousness? No. What is the material which has gone into making the waves? It is the infinite waters. What is the material which has gone into making the ornament? The element gold. Same way, what is the material which has gone into making the mind? Mind meaning thoughts. So what is the material? Nothing but consciousness. But we are focused on the thoughts, our attention. So when we are told, look at the source of your thoughts, observe your mind, what do? Inadvertently, we start observing the thoughts. We didn't ask you to observe the thoughts. Then the instruction would have been observe the thoughts. The instruction was observe your mind. Mind means that substratum, that foundation on which the thoughts are coming and going. See? This is where majority of the meditators make the mistake. So when the mind is thinking, when that silent mind, gentle mind, when it starts contemplating on the Atma, on the self-knowledge, who am I? What is the source of this I thought? Where is me? Do I have a location? You see? Then contemplating in that, it merges into it. Just like the waker, when he is contemplating on the sleep, he merges into sleep. Waker vanishes, isn't it? Waker goes out of existence when the sleep begins. There is no waker available in the sleep. Exactly the same way. Our problem is that we want to remember our realization. Get out of this idea. When the seeker, when the waker contemplates on the self, he is an individual, isn't he? So when he contemplates on the self and he gets merged into the self, will the individual be remained behind? No. There is no one coming back after that. Once you merge, then there is no one coming back. Oh my God, then should I pursue this? Don't be afraid. That's what it was told. Till your mind is focused on the world, till then fear will be one of the major obstacles in this mind. And why it comes? Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people make spiders into pets. Some people are afraid of driving. Just by the thought of driving, they start shivering in their seat. Other people go at 300, 400, 500 kilometers per hour. So, one day, once upon a time, you were afraid of something, today you are not. Once upon a time, you were not afraid of something, today you are. So, there is no rule as such for the mind. Understand, mind is a creature of habit. If you make it keep thinking that I am afraid of open doors, if you think about it few times, you will start suspecting that there is someone behind the door. And you will start getting afraid. It's that stupid in that sense. So when this mind becomes calm and quiet, free of fear, free of desires, contemplating a natural urge to know the self arises within this mind, only in a quiet mind the intentions become pure. And purity of intention is what? That your contemplation or your thoughts are not taking you away from yourself. That is purity of intention. That is one way of looking at it. Second is, let the thoughts come and go, who cares? I am who I am. I am the eternal witness. That's the second way of looking at it. So, so just as the salt, when dropped in water, which is its original state, becomes merged in its essential nature, how then could emotions and other tendencies arise in such a mind? Emotions, ideas, concepts, all these are on account of your being thinking about anything other than the self. When you are contemplating on anatma, and what is anatma? Anatma is everything that is changing, everything that is impermanent. That is anatma. And who are you essentially? Atma. What is coming in between? The mind. So now, now I can't do anything. Mind is there. I didn't create it. It's there. The phenomena is there. And somehow I got attached to this phenomena, thinking I am the phenomena. Now I have to use this tool to get out of the phenomena. And that is what he is telling, that when you are using this phenomena at the mental level, this is the tapasya. You have to fry it. And how will it get fried? When it thinks about the self. How will the waker get fried? When it thinks about the sleep. Only then he will vanish out of existence. How will the individual get fried? Only when his puri is made, contemplating on the Atma. See? Then in such a mind, how can emotions be an obstacle? How can ideas, what else he says? And other tendencies. Other tendencies, the desires, the vasanas which are appearing as desires, manorajya, these are the tendencies. How can they disturb such a person? They will not. They will only disturb the person who is giving value to these things. And why does the fear, why does the memory, why does the daydreaming, manorajya begin? Because we have given the anatma vastu too much importance. Then what is to be done? Start chanting name of the Lord. Best. And how? With bhava sanshuddhi. With pure intention you chant the name of the Lord. Then see how quickly the whole thing turns around. Without you doing anything. Just play with the mantra. Keep chanting it wherever. And don't feel guilty if you are not chanting it. But intention should be there. That, oh Lord, please help me to purify. It will happen. But when you start putting efforts and you are not seeing results, again agitation, restlessness, that is not required. It should be a natural glide. So here he says, then how then could emotions and other tendencies arise in such a mind? How could this mind rush along the road of the senses and reach the town of sense objects? Sense objects, anatma vastu. Thoughts are about anatma vastu. Understand this once and for all. The appearance of thought in the mind is only about the phenomena. When you start thinking about the sat vastu or atma vastu, the atma tattva, thinking stops by itself. Get this into your understanding clearly once and for all. When you are thinking of sleep, which is not an experience, your mind becomes empty. So what you want to do? Bring about, you want to bring about, if you can bring about a condition wherein your mind becomes quiet like in sleep and you are still awake. You are still conscious, awake meaning conscious. Wonderful. Story over. See? So mind, here he is saying, how could this mind rush along the road of senses and reach the town of sense objects? This in yoga, this particular sentence only is called pratyahar. Pratyahar is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar. Then comes dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So he is asking, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, when you have done this, the previous steps, then why will the mind and how will the mind, there is no stimulus in the mind to run out of the senses and get in and envelop some sense object and call it its own and have a, then naturally it gets attached, then there is desire, then there is and the story goes on. It will not go out. It will stay in its own place. And when you have come to this point, mind is absolutely pure, and many people mistake that to be a very high state of meditation. No. Such people have their eyes blank. They are contemplating on nothing. Emptiness. There is lack of, there is no joy. Just खाली खाली घूम रहे हैं भूत की तरह. They lose the plot of life. And if they don't keep practicing this pratyahar, for whatever reason it came about, maybe a broken heart, maybe they fell in love, God knows what, or maybe they went to some exercise and suddenly things happened and they were so focused on the exercise that mind was in its place, and immense joy comes, quietness comes inside, which is overwhelming for many people. And even if they want to go out, sometimes the mind doesn't go out. But if this mind is not employed for something higher, then it goes into drugs, drinks, back into the world. And how does it go back into the world? With a vengeance. बदला लेगा फिर. अच्छा मेरे को इतनी देर तक पकड़ के रखा था, अभी मैं बताता हूँ. चलो. On a war footing it goes back into the world. Then you require more efforts to bring it back. Control it. So stop thinking you are the mind. Mind is only an equipment. Mind is only a tool. Then who am I? I am the Atma. I am the unchanging. See? Then the tendencies of the mind become pure in the way the palm of a person is free from hair. On the palm of our hand there are no hair. Similarly, hair meaning the tendencies, the vasanas, the desires, expectation, guilts, comparisons, judgments, biasness, thoughts of the world. All this is compared to the hair. So no more thought eruptions in such a mind. It is naturally calm. Not by force. Not by force. Not by denying it anything. We are not forcing it away from anything. No. We are just changing the theme of the mind. So when you come to a satsang for 1.5 hours, we are using so many words. But the thought usage is directing your mind towards your essential nature. It is not taking you towards the world. See? Now you try to do it for 1.5 hours by yourself, or you try to do this on the seat of meditation by yourself. Sometimes it becomes a challenge for some people. You have to keep practicing it, but you have to understand that this is how the mind functions. Mind is a tool, mind is an equipment, mind is a vehicle, and you have become the vehicle. That I am the mind. That's a stupid conclusion. Then the tendencies of the mind become pure in the way the palm of a person is free from hair. Now from 236th verse to 239th. Kaya bahu bolo Arjuna zehe dashaye mana tay mano tapa bhidhana patra hoyati parite असौहे जाण मानस तपाचे लक्षण देवो म्हणे संपूर्ण सांगितले एवं देहवाचा चित्ते ते पातले त्रिविधत्वाते ते सामान्य तपतूते परिसविलेगा आता गुणत्रय संगे हेची विशेषी त्रिविधिरिगे ते ही आईक चांगे प्रज्ञा बळे. He says, O Arjuna, when the mind reaches this state, it is said to possess the austerity of the mind. I told you, I think last week, now if you listen to the lecture of this Sunday, we are starting how to practice the Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. The journey is from many thoughts, from gross thoughts to subtle thoughts to unmanifest thoughts to the source of the thoughts, or to the essence of the thoughts, whichever way you put it. Same thing put in another words, from the waking, which is gross, to the subtle, which is dream, to the unmanifest, which is sleep, to transcendental, which is the Atma. Now, how that is done, that is the next chapter in our... no, it will not start. This Sunday we are going to recap the chapter, I think, the previous chapter. So it will be the next class, next Sunday. And so he says that it is said to... when the mind reaches such a state, it is said to have the tapas of this mind. This is called tapas of the mind or austerity of the mind. Such are the characteristics of the austerity of the mind. I have explained to you the three classes of austerities, that is the body, speech and the mind. Tamasic, Rajasic and Sattvic. Body, speech and mind. I shall now tell you how this threefold austerity gets transformed because of its association with the three gunas. Bring to bear upon it your powerful intellect and listen. So how this threefold tapasya, austerity, gets transformed because of its association with the three gunas. So we saw that manasa vacha kaya, this was at the activity level, isn't it? This was where the activity is being done. Now we are going to associate it with the sattva, rajas, tamas and see how it helps us to go beyond. Now in the 17th verse he says, Shraddhaya paraya taptam Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham naraihi tapastat trividham naraihi afalakankshirbhiryuktaihi अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते सात्विकं परिचक्षते टुगेदर श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तप श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते. This threefold austerity performed with supreme faith by self-controlled persons without the expectation of a reward is said to be of Sattvika type. So now you understand one thing. You can bring about the above condition through yoga also, through Kundalini also, through Raja Yoga also, through Kriya Yoga also. You don't have to study Vedanta for that. See? Because it was about control of mind. It was about, but where yoga comes in, when I say that you can employ any of these paths, there is some effort being put, isn't it? There is effort being put, and there is every chance that after some time you will get tired of putting efforts. That is what happens every night. We get tired of living the day, so we go to sleep. So is there a way? In Vedanta, all we are doing is getting fired up with regards to the self that we are, to the exclusion of everything else. See? So here when he says that when this threefold austerity performed with supreme faith by self-controlled persons. So who are self-controlled persons? Who have practiced the 16th verse, the previous verse. They are self-controlled. Without the expectation of a reward. Expectation means it will lead to what? Expectation leads to what? Anxiety, panic, if things don't go our way. Without the expectation of a reward is said to be of sattva quality. So let's see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says here. छोटा सा ही है. तरी हेची तप त्रिविधा जे दाविले तुझ प्रबुद्धा तेची करी पूर्ण श्रद्धा सांडूनी फळ जयपुरतिया सत्वशुद्धी आचरिजे अस्तिक्य बुद्धी तय तया तेची गा प्रबुद्धी सात्विक म्हणिपे. He says, O wise Arjuna, you should practice this threefold austerity with full faith, dropping all desire for its fruit. When this threefold austerity is performed faithfully with a pure mind, the wise call it Sattvika tapasya or austerity. So when you practice the above without any expectation, so when you are contemplating on the self, is there an expectation to realize the self? Then you are going the wrong way. Because you are already the self. How will you realize it? All we have to bring about is a condition where the mind becomes purified. And where the mind becomes purified, non-reactionary, there you are. There you are. Because even if you keep thinking, Aham Brahmasmi, I am, teacher told me, the Upanishads tell me, Tattvamasi, you are that, and I am that. You know, Nisargadatta Maharaj also wrote a book, I am that. He did not write the book. Someone else wrote it. And where are we comparing ourselves to Nisargadatta Maharaj ji? But this hook because complete conviction in the mind. But mind has not been purified, so it keeps the tape recorder of I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. It will not allow you to allow the mind to dissolve that thought also. And therefore it is told, yes, no doubt, we begin with a desire to realize. But a point must come. You sit in the car to reach your destination. After reaching the destination, if you say, I am not going to leave the car, it's stupidity. You have to leave the car. The reason and purpose for you to use the car to reach your destination, you have to leave the car behind. But where are we making the mistake? We are using the mind because the desire to realize was in the mind. It was not in the self, it was in the mind. We purified the mind as a result of that desire. Now it is time to leave it. If the mind is calm, all those manaprasada, saumyatam, prashanta, maunam, atma vinigraha, all bhava sanshuddhi, intention is clear, mind is silent, mind is gentle, mind is happy for no reason, and mind is naturally contemplative on the self, naturally. Now stop the desire, let it happen, let the mind do it. Let the mind contemplate on the self. But there should not be this urgency that I have to realize. You have to give up that urgency now. If you keep having the urgency that I have to sleep, you will never sleep, because that will keep generating more thoughts then. Think. Because what is going to happen in meditation is already happening to you every night when you go to sleep. You have to just notice what are the steps that are taking place. A natural, gentle, effortless glide into sleep. Here it is a natural, effortless glide into the consciousness by the consciousness. Into the consciousness by the consciousness. Just like the wave is also water and water is also water. So the water wave is effortlessly gliding back, merging back into the total infinite waters. See? So when these, so you should practice these threefold as with full faith. With full faith. Why full faith? Because scriptures are saying so. Because masters have confirmed that. Because scriptures are the speech of the Lord Himself. Rishi Munis have experienced it. See, our problem, big problem is lack of faith. If we have faith, then we are self-sufficient to chart our journey, to chart our purification of the mind and abide in the essential nature. The Munis of yore, they never had anyone to whom all these mantras of the Vedas, they were revealed. The Upanishads were revealed. Whom did they go to? They didn't go to anyone. They observed alertly and vigilantly as they were moving through the world what is working and what is not working. What are the higher possibilities? Having worked it out that no permanent solution was possible in the outside world, they went within. Naturally, when they went within, the entry was that to go within they had to close their senses. But as long as they close, then when they open the senses, again the world is there. So is there a way that I can, is there a, see, it's a natural progression. Is there a way that even if my senses are open, my windows are open, I am not disturbed by the world? Then their attention went to the mind. Is there a way that this mind, what is it made up of? Has it come from somewhere else? They contemplated. There were no scriptures that time. And in that process, when they focused on the Lord or they focused on the self, then the scriptural statements got revealed to them. That's how we have got it. They did the hard work. And even today you will see many Mahatmas are there to whom they, in a same words rearranged in a different manner, in different languages, they get revealed and they come out. See? Dekho. But we are lazy fellows, you know. We want everything on a platter. We don't want to put the effort. What can we do? We are in Kali Yuga. That's our excuse. But all answers are within. All we have to have is faith. Where the questions come from, there alone the answers are. Answers are not outside. Answers are not in the books. And even if you listen to this satsang or read Bhagavad Gita, still it will not give you answers unless and until you don't realize the answer from within. Now you got the information, what is the sattvic mind, but until unless you don't make it your own, until then questions will keep appearing about it. So he says, when this threefold austerity is performed faithfully with a pure mind, the wise call it sattvic, what do you call? Sattvic quality, said to be of sattvic quality. Now in the 18th verse he says, Satkarama, what is it? Satkaramana pujartha tapodambhena chaivayat. Satkaramana pujartha tapodambhena chaivayat. Kriyate tadiha proktam. Kriyate tadiha proktam. Rajasam chalamadhruvam. Rajasam chalamadhruvam. Satkaramana pujartha tapodambhena chaivayat. Kriyate tadiha proktam. Rajasam chalamadhruvam. In the 18th verse he says that austerity performed with ostentation to gain respect, honor, homage, and homage is declared to be of rajas quality. It is unstable and transient. Simple. Understand the expression of the sattva and expression of the rajas. The expression of the sattva was the 16th verse, performed without any expectation, is sattva. The 16th verse, performed without any expectation of a conclusion, or without any expectation of an experience, then it is sattvic. Then what is rajasic? This is rajasic. That austerity performed with a view to gain respect, honor and homage. Man samman. These people want to do good to the world. That is how they get name and fame. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, ना तरी तपस्थापने लागी दुजे पण मांडूनी जगी महत्वाच्या शृंगी वैसावया त्रिभुवनीच्या या सन्माना न वाचावे ठाया आना धुरेचिया आसना भोजना लागी विश्वाचिया स्तोत्रा आपण हुआवया पात्रा विश्वे आपलिया यात्रा कराविया यावे लोकांची या विविधा पूजा आश्रयो न धरावया दुजा भोग भोगावे वोजा महत्वाचिया. He says in the 18th verse, this austerity is also performed to secure the top ranking position in the society. What was the sattvic tapasya at the mind level? What was the goal? Atma was the goal. That is the final destination. For this fellow in Rajas, what is his final destination? He wants to be the best among the human beings, among the individuals. That naturally name, fame, respect, reverence. So this austerity is also performed to secure the top ranking position in society or the top most honor. Such people want to get Padma Bhushan, they want to get, in Australia, they want to get the OAMs. See? And this is not, even sannyasis are not, sannyasis should not be after all these accolades. But they also go for Bharat Ratna. If a musician is getting, let them get it. Sannyasi getting Bharat Ratna, pathetic. That is not the goal of a sannyasi. That is not a goal of the seeker. See, in the sattvic disposition, tapasya, the disposition was towards the self, Atma Vinigraha. The disposition in the rajasic, in the rajas, is outwards. Because why it is outwards? Acceptance or duality. Then why was the sattvic fellow practicing or contemplating on the self? He wanted to transcend duality. So his attention was on the Atmic principle. In Rajas, the mind's attention is not on the Atmic principle. It's not on the unifying principle. It is not on the all-pervading principle. It is on how can I get the topmost position within the society. For that he is ready to do whatever it takes. He is ready to put efforts for that, by hook or by crook. Because where Rajas comes, their desire comes, their fear comes, their security comes, their greed comes. Top ranking position in the society or the topmost honor in the three worlds by depriving others, or a seat of honor in the audience or at feast, or to win universal praise. And this you can see, if minister is not given his appropriate, if you put chief minister on the end of the row, आग बबूला हो जाएगा, he will go crazy. This is the respect you give me. He has to be in the center of the stage with the big chair. And these things happen with sannyasis also. If you go to the North India or all over India, those who are not after the self, those who are not the true seekers of the self, then what are they after? They are after making ashrams, they are after establishing dharma in the society, they are after propagation of Sanatana Dharma in the world, they are after imparting education to the masses. Now when such forums are there, Sadhu Sabha is there, you see the end in the akhadas and all, the Mahamandleshwars, etc. They have got, each one has a position. This akhada is higher than the other akhada, that akhada is higher than the other one. So according to that they have to be seated, and their chairs, and they have to be also higher than the other ones. नहीं तो बवाल हो जाता है उधर. All hell breaks loose. And this is about sannyasis. No, we are not talking about the parliament. This is sannyasi parliament. You see at Kumbh Mela, if some other khada fellow goes and takes the Shahi Snan, ओए कितने दंगे हो गए कितनी बार. People have died. Why? They are carrying the swords, the Naga Babas and all. They start fighting. Why? We are the first. We are the upholders. We are the highest. We must be given the first choice to, by law, we are the first ones to take the dip in the Shahistan in Triveni. How can you do it? See? Doesn't it happen in our family also? That fellow, I brought so many presents on my birthday, that fellow did not give me any present. And they did not call me for their daughter's marriage also. And we did so much for them. We have been supporting them. We have been doing this. But he did not even give even a passing glance. Ignored me. Now I'm never going to talk to them. Don't these thoughts go through a common man's mind? This is pratishtha. In your own mind, you have a high position for yourself. Now you want to seek that position that you have made for yourself in your own mind, that you are something great, to be recognized by the outside world. See? Bhagwan bachaye. If you are the most important person and you are not given the most important seat, then you want attention. Why? क्या हो गया स्वामी जी? नहीं, मेरे को हेड ऑफ द टेबल क्यों नहीं बिठाया? मेरे को बीच में क्यों बिठाया? रुसू रूठ के बैठ गए. Does that suit a person? A seeker. This fellow is not a seeker. The Rajasic tapasya, he is not a seeker. His tapasya is only to get name, fame, power, control. It is also practiced with the motive that people should come to see him, seek his support to the exclusion of others, and render homage to him, and that he alone should be able to enjoy all the important pleasures of life. There is one school in Melbourne. They also teach philosophy. I have been told, I don't know how far it is true, but someone who used to be there, they only told me. And there the rule is, if you are coming to this teacher, you are not allowed to go to any other teacher. You are not allowed to ask any questions to other teacher. The teacher starts owning the students that he has or she has. And they are teaching what? Vedanta. And if you do that, then there is a punishment. Then you are out of the favor from the teacher's mind. Then he'll give you trouble. He will not explain to you. He will not be available for you. See? Is this spiritual? Then what is that? It's an expression of what? These are, I want. See, this is what happens when you go to ashrams. I never suggest anyone to go and take initiation from anyone. Why? It's a way to hook you to the organization. It's a way to hook you to the personality cult. That's all. That Mahatma gave me the mantra. If it is some realized master, it's a totally different matter. But from every Tom, Dick and any person who is having a ochre robe, don't go to until unless you don't know that he is realized. You can never come to know, only by general consensus. Best is never go and ask for initiation. When you are listening to satsang like this, 1,000 times you are initiated. 1,000 times you are initiated. But you want to, it's a natural thing for a person, because they are weak in their mind, they are unsettled in their mind, and they are looking for some support where they can download themselves, where they can look up to someone. Then such minds are taken advantage of by the others. Then they hook them. Okay, take the mantra. Now, अगर नहीं chant किया तो गुरुद्रोह हो जाएगा. If you don't chant the mantra of the Lord, then Lord will be angry. Again, fear. The only way religion can control people is through fear and guilt. But our Sanatan Dharma is not like that. अब ये दूसरों को कॉपी करके करके ऐसे हो गया अभी. The influence of the other religions. Our Sanatan Dharma is not a religion, first thing. Total freedom. And therefore, majority, true masters, they never go and propagate their teachings. They never go and market that, I am so and so, come and do this, come and join, come and take initiation. You will see in Melbourne also people come and say there is an initiation night. Why? They want faithful people who are hooked to the organization or the person. Get out of this mindset. It is not healthy for realization. It is not healthy for your peace of mind. Because someday, some news will come about that organization or that person, God forbid, after 10, 20, 30, 40 years of associating with them. And then you will feel, I have wasted my 40 years. That means you are so stubborn, you are so weak that it took you 40 years to realize your mistake. Go within. Go within. Go within. Don't depend on anyone. If you want initiation, pray to the Lord. Tell me, Lord, which mantra I should chant. Lord will reveal it to you. You go to someone, they will only make use of you. That's all. This is the Rajasic type we are talking about. A Sattvic person will not use you. But Rajasic person who has an axe to grind, who wants donation, who wants to build ashram, who is asking for charity, who has an agenda to spread his name far and wide. Gadbadanand Foundation. गड़बड़ी करता रहेगा. Now you think, if someone has the agenda of building ashram, is he available to your spiritual growth, or is he available to his expansion of his organization? Think. Raman Maharshi did not make Ramana Ashram. It came around him. Akhandanandji did not make his ashram. The ashram came around him. See? Ramakrishna Paramahansa did not make an ashram. It came around him. It came after him, actually. So beware. You have to be beware only when you are in that you are not falling into the trap of Rajasic Tapasya at the mind level. It is also practiced with the motive that people should come to see him एंड इफ यू गो टू समवन एल्स, अच्छा तुम उसके पास जाके आए, कई महात्माओं के सामने बोलो you are very devoted to those mahatmas, or even in your family circles or social circles you start praising someone else, and that person is the enemy of that person, and you are praising that person in front of that person, or you are praising another mahatma in front of this mahatma, and this mahatma is not fully cooked, immediately jealousy. So this is the way of the world. Rajasic means the way of the world. But in the world, they want to have pratishtha. Motive that other people should come to him, seek his support, and to the exclusion of others. They should fall at his foot. They should celebrate him as, some people. Just now, one of my friends, he did a PhD from in Nyaya Shastra from one Sanskrit university. Now he has become what you call a sannyasi. So he is taking classes, and what is the brochure saying? It says Sant 1008 Shri Shri Gadvadanand Ji Maharaj. See, Sant, sorry, in between I forgot, Doctor Dr. Gadvadanand Ji Maharaj. Because PhD किया है तो doctor होगा ना. So that is more important, because doctor will bring him more fame. Doctor will make him, people will look up. He is an educated. He is not a अनपढ़ सन्यासी नहीं है. सोचो कैसे how the mind takes you for a ride. And render homage to him, that he alone should be able to enjoy all the important pleasures of life. You will see many yogis, if you tell them that I went to that yoga master, and if he is in competition with that yoga master, then if you go and do pranams to him, he will not accept it. There are people like that. If you go into him, you go to him, you don't come to me. No, don't touch my feet. Then such people have an inner circle and outer circle. See? Everything is secret. They don't push करते रहेंगे आपस में. Nothing is open. Nothing is crystal clear. Straightforwardness is not there. Everything is manipulative. Why? Because their goal is to become, to have a pratishtha within the society by hook or by crook. And also that he alone should be able to enjoy all the important pleasures of life. So if we want that, I want to realize the self, but while on the journey, I don't want to become a pauper. I don't want to have to beg for food. I don't want to have no home. I don't want to go into the Himalayas. I don't want this or that or whatever. Then, no, I want to do realize in a 5-star manner. What is that? I should have the vehicle that I should be able to buy any vehicle I want. I should be able to buy clothes that I want. I should be able to eat in any restaurant. I should be able to travel. I should be able to donate. Then 5-star spirituality. See? All the pleasures of life. And there is nothing wrong in having all that. A sattvic person can also have all this, but is not attached to it. Satya Sai Baba was one like that. Living in the midst of abundance. Yet nobody has ever seen him eating food. Ammachi, मैं भी लिटिल 2 घास खाती है दिन में 2 बार बस. Hardly nobody has seen her sleeping. See, so she is also surrounded with so much wealth and so many ashrams, but those are different categories. We can't compare ourselves to them. Unattached. In the 245th, what is that verse? 246th. अंग बोल माखूनी तपे विकावया आपण पे अंगहीन पड़पे जिया परी हे असौ धनमानी आस वाढवनी तप की जैसायास तय तेची तप राजस बोलिजेगा परी पहुरणी जे दुहिले तय ते गुरु न दुभेची व्याले का उभे शेत चारिले पिकावयानुरे कैसे फोकारिता तप की जय जय साक्षेप ते फळी तव सोप निशेष जाय ऐसे निर्फळ देखोनी करिता माझारी सांडी पंडुसुता म्हणवनी नाही स्थिरता तपातया. He says in the 246th OV, just as a deformed person puts on a glittering dress to hide his deformity, he performs the austerity sanctimoniously to enhance his own importance. Who? The tapasvi. The tapasvi, just like a deformed person, he wants to take your attention away from his deformity. Very simple. If you have a bad eye, I am blind in one eye, I'll wear dark glasses and move around. Nobody can see me. Your attention is on the dark glasses. Or I'll wear a diamond, your attention will go to diamond. Or your attention will go to good clothes. Or whatever. Distracted. Same way, this tapasvi, a rajasic tapasvi, he does his tapasya with pomp and show. He wants to show what a great tapasvi, because he has the wealth, he has the following, he has the people, he has सबको चाबी लगा दी है. He performs the austerity sanctimoniously to enhance his own importance. Everything is at a large scale, which sanctimoniously means it's like a show off rather than a tapasya. So we are doing havan, we are doing puja. Now Swamiji is going to go into Maunam for 21 days. The whole world has to come to know that this fellow is going for 21 days. Who really wants to go into silence? Why will he announce? Quietly vanish? No, but they will announce. Then when they come out of 21 days, it's a big celebration. Oh, Swamiji has come out. See? Don't we do that? If we have been elected president of some place, or we have turned 80, or we have turned 60, big, we want to organize. Arey, you should wait for your children to organize your Shashti, not organize your Shashti Purti yourself. Correct or not? Then we make them feel guilty. Hey, don't you know that it is my 60th birthday? Did you plan anything? You fall into this category. See? That means your attention is on outside. Your attention is not in the sattvic mode, your mind. The austerity which is undertaken with the desire of securing riches and respect is known as rajasic austerity. So lot of people do lot of sadhana, lot of tapasya. They do lot of japa. They say if you chant Gayatri Mantra for 24 lakh times, Gayatri Mata will appear in front of you. Then what will happen after that? What will happen after that if she appears in front of you? Then she'll go away. You're back to square one. So, why did you do tapasya? to get blessings of Gayatri Mata or get blessings of Dattatreya or whichever god. But what next? What next? You want siddhis. What next? You will get caught up in that. Namdev Maharaj was caught up. God used to come and do his job for him. If he has to heal someone, he has to give blessings to someone, he says, yeah, I will tell the Lord. And it used to happen. But what next? And he was the eldest of the so-called saints, because he was controlling Lord and not allowing Lord to control him, not merging into Lord. He had the arrogance that the Lord listens to me. He was a great devotee. Then who taught him the lesson? That 9-year-old Muktabai. She taught him a lesson. 9 or 10-year-old. And all other saints, they understood. He is like they called him Azoba, Aja, grandfather. And he loved Pandarinath. He loved our Vithoba. So he was in Alandi. He was feeling he wanted to go back where I am caught up with all these Kanho Patra and Nivritti Nath and Nyandev Maharaj and Sopan Dev and Gora Kumbhar and all these are, I am Namdev, I am a Patil, I am Kulkarni or whatever his. He had lot of wealth also. But all these are poor fellows living in a jhopadi. One is a Kumhar, he is a pot maker and so on. Now what to do? And he was then to teach him, to teach the grandfather type of a person the lesson that he is going wrong in his way. That is not the goal of life. The Gora Kumbhar, who was still elder to them but not younger than Namdev Maharaj, they went, okay, we are going to play a game, knock knock. And he knocked on the heads of, with the stick, he knocked on head of every saint there in Alandi, and he says, this is cooked, this is cooked, this is cooked, this is cooked. And the last one, when he came to Namdev Maharaj was afraid, because deep inside he knew. He had doubt. If that thought is appearing that I don't want it get done, means there is something lacking. And first he tried to avoid and he was sitting away from everyone. But Gora Kumar went and then he knocked on his head and he says, it's uncooked. It doesn't look nice if younger kids do that. So elderly person was asked. And the moment he heard uncooked, he lost his cool, he became angry and he stormed out of that place and ran to Pandharpur. See? But what was his previous life? From that moment onwards, the urge, why am I uncooked? Why was I declared uncooked? That caught his imagination. But till that moment, he was living in the riches. He had so many people. Everyone came and fell at his feet. Muktabai did not fall at his feet. She says, "Kacha hai, abhi kacha hai." See? That Changdev Maharaj, 1400-year-old. This is riches. Riches means wealth. This is spiritual wealth. All the siddhis, Sampanna, 1400-year-old, riding on a tiger, coming with all the animals who are naturally enemies of each other, all of them coming, people coming together and coming to meet Jnaneshwar Maharaj. And when he meets Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Jnaneshwar Maharaj said, I am not your teacher. This Mukta, 9-10-year-old girl, she is your teacher. She will tell you the answers to your question. I think their samadhi is in Jadgaon, both of them. Muktabai also and our Changdev Maharaj also. See, so what are we after? So this here when he is saying that he, what is that? The austerity or tapasya which is undertaken with a desire of securing riches, material riches or spiritual riches, which is siddhis, and respect is known as rajasic tapas, austerity. Knowledge is power. Once you know what is sattvic tapas, what is rajasic tapas, and what is tamasic tapas, then you will be aware what am I falling into. That I must wean out of tamas into rajas. And if I find myself caught up in rajas, then I must wean out of it to go to move towards sattva. Who is going to tell you this? Scriptures only are going to tell you. And then he says, Rajasic, when the teats of a cow big with young are infested with worms, it yields no milk after calving. The field does not yield any harvest after its standing crop is allowed to be grazed by a cattle. In the same way, the austerities undertaken for the sake of publicity become futile because the purity of intention is not there. Bhava Shuddhi is not there. Remember the previous verse? Bhava Shuddhi, Bhava Samshuddhi. Intention can become very clear and pure only when we are not affected by desires. Then only the Shuddhi comes about. Bhava Shuddhi comes about. For the sake of publicity so do not do it for the sake of the world. Do not do it for the sake of the society. See? Such people become social workers. They want to control people. See? They become environmentalists. They want to improve the environment. They can't improve their own families, but they want to improve environment. They live in a mess in their own house, but they want to practicing no shaucha, no hygiene, but they want to improve environment. Then seeing, where are we? Then seeing that his austerities are fruitless, he leaves them halfway and is not steadfast in performing them. Many people come to us. Swamiji, I have been trying this, I have been practicing this mantra for last 5 years, but no improvement is happening. What should I do? Today only someone asked. They said, Swamiji, I am learning Vedic chanting and my teacher from India, she's a musician. So their teacher in India, she told that person that I am learning Vedic chanting. He said, oh, ladies are not supposed to do Vedic chanting, and put a doubt in her mind. Now she has been thinking about it. I don't know when she talked to him or her, but today she called. She said, Swamiji, I am learning Vedic chanting. Is it right or is it wrong? Should women do or not do? Am I committing sin? Poor girl, young mother of 2 kids, doing something, practicing something good, but say these so-called upholders of, just like the Pandits, the upholders of religion or dharma, they did not want to give do the thread ceremony of Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Nowhere in our scriptures it is written that the woman cannot chant the mantras. Nowhere in the Vedas it is given. Not that I have read all the Vedas, but I can only communicate what my teacher communicated to me. See? But these orthodox Brahmins, so many great saints are there. But these upholders of religion and culture and dharma, they start dictating that this strata of the society can study, this strata cannot. There is nowhere it is like that. Everyone has the freedom to pursue knowledge. Everyone has the freedom to pursue whatever. Even a Shudra, if by his actions and his knowledge he is capable, then he is called a Brahmin. He is not by birth a Shudra. Every child is a Shudra that way. But we want to classify, men have taken a higher position. In Kerala, women have taken a higher position. They are the matriarchal society. Slowly it is changing. So, in the same way, the austerities undertaken for the sake of publicity become futile. Then, seeing that his austerities are fruitless, he leaves them halfway and is not steadfast in performing them. So, if we have a ulterior motive that when I do this particular japa for so many times and I go half, so I have been told, what if you do 100,000 times Hanuman Chalisa, Ramchandra ji will give you darshan. And on the way you are done 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and then your interest in chanting the mantra goes away. Or it's too long. That other fellow, he is only chanting Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, and I am chanting Shri Guru Charana Sarajaya, and so many shlokas, dohas I am chanting. Why can't I get something small and effective? We start comparing. I think this guru, like in one of the Upanishads, one student went the father sent his son to study, and after studying, when he came back, all haughty, I have studied all the scriptures, all the Vedas, and he comes and with lot of arrogance he comes and stands in front of his dad, doesn't even give the respects that his dad himself is a great master, teacher, but father should never teach the son. He sent him away. You learn from someone else. Then when the father saw the arrogance of the son, he said, Did you learn? Did you study that, or did you come to know that by knowing which nothing else is to be known? This fellow started scratching his head. And then he said, No, I didn't study anything like that. I did not come to know anything like that. We were not taught. Maybe our teacher didn't know about it. Whom did he blame? He did not take responsibility. Spiritual journey is about taking full responsibility for ourselves, our actions. You are blaming the guru that he did not know that, therefore he did not teach me. Or is it the case that he taught and you did not, you were having some daydreaming, or you misunderstood what he said? So in satsang we get all the answers, but are we available? And then he asked his father, I think my teacher didn't know, therefore he didn't teach me, but now you tell me. And then that Upanishad begins. See? So we want to keep changing our mantra. We want to keep changing our guru. We want to keep changing our. Before I used to love Bhagavad Gita. Now I love Upanishads. Before I used to love Babaji, Mahavatar Baba. Then I fell in love with the Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Now I don't have anyone to love. I am independent. I don't depend on anyone. That is stupidity. Keep going round and round and round. Such a person will never find solace in his heart. Because his attention is on results. The first step, I think I mentioned this in the last class, the first step is perform action without expectation of a result. So when we are talking about this verse, mana prasada saumyatvam mano maunam atma vinigraha bhava sanshuddhi ityetata tapo manasamuchyate. Yes, that will happen, but it should be without any expectation of this is equal to sattvic mind. Now we have seen what are the qualities of the sattvic mind. And the first point that is given is that there is no expectation of a result. The sadhana is not done with an expectation in mind. Now you have to find that click. How to do something without any expectation. Without any expectation. Then why do you do it? Because it is the right thing to do. You don't. Oh, it's already 9 o'clock. Because it is the right thing to do. So, where are we? Let's quickly read this and then we'll explain next week. Kaya bahu bolo Arjuna jai he dasha ye mana tay mano tapa bhidhana pat. No, not here. Where are we? Which verse we are on? Page change कर दिया. 250. 250. एरवी तरी आकाश मांडी जो गर्जोनी ब्रह्मांड फोडी तो अवकाळू में गुकाय घडी राहात आहे तैसे राजस तपजे होय ते फळी कीरवांझ जाये परी आचरणी ही नोहे निर्वाहते गा आता तेची तप पुढती तामसाची ये रीती पैतवरत्रा आणि कीर्ती मुकोनी कीजे. He says in the unseasonal clouds which appear in the sky make the whole world resound with their thunder. Yet, do they last long? No. In the same way, the Rajasic austerity proves barren and its practice does not last long. But if that austerity is of tamas quality, then it does not lead to renown in this world or heaven. We'll explain this in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quiet for half a minute. Hari Om.